LCS now taking over the chair. To my left is Sam, Kobe, Hartman, Kensler. Had Jat, now I've got you. It's actually much better. Thank you for being here with me. We want to break down what you've been talking to us about on Twitter. Now, of course, earlier today we asked you guys, who is your mid-season MVP in the North American LCS and why? Here's what you guys have been saying. At Toxic Popsicle says, hands down, it's got to be Afromu. He just makes support look so easy.
So easy. That's
easy
the right there.
Yeah, he's a great player, of course. Next up, at The Real AJ Rex, his mid-season MVP is not a player, but Loco Doco. The way TSM has played after he arrived as a coach has been incredible. Well done.
Yeah, I know. We don't know how much to attribute to the team's, the individual players or to the coach, but they have definitely improved since he got here. So put two and two together. Loco Doco MVP.
Loco Doco's been doing awesome, and it's pretty true. Next up, at League of Bex says, it has to be Double Lift. He's playing great while also being consistent. He's #1 in total kills and gold per minute for a reason.
That is true. However, the consistent part, he did have a hard, rough day yesterday.
He's #1 in catching hooks. He's just getting better at more things. It's okay. Double Lift. He disappears in front of your eyes.
He's still #1 in gold per minute, and he still is top in kills, though. That's a good point.
Yeah, he's an awesome player, to be sure. Next up, at 87 Nate, is all tech for MVP, makes EG a playoff threat, and gives hope to see Scumbag Crepo at Worlds other than being on the analyst desk.
He's going to be there some way. One way or another, we'll see Crepo.
Which would he prefer, though? Sitting next to me in the analyst desk or, casting for you?
He would probably prefer playing.
Playing, yeah, sorry. You casting him. There we go. That's what I meant to go for. It's all right. It worked out. Now, of course, guys, if you want to chime in, send your thoughts to @LOL Esports. Use the hashtag LCS to join the conversation. But for me, I have my own answer because you guys, you write in, you're the real MVP. But now we're going to go ahead and throw it over to Riv and Jat take us into our next match. And as we go, Dignitas thinks they've got the advantage in individual skill, but CLG says it's the team with the better strategy and coordination that will win.
Against CLG, last time we made the mistake of not committing to anything, and Nidalee pretty much just took over the game. We couldn't really stop her from just throwing spears at us, so she just threw spears at us and killed us all.
The game requires more white-collar ability than blue-collar ability. You can quote me on that. You really need to understand rotations, how much you can take, how much you can do, and having vision control around the map so you can make those plays is really what makes a team right now.
It's when we start to falter is when you see us just running around just trying to get something and it doesn't look too good.
I think we just got to be a little bit smarter how we're playing the game against CLG because I think we definitely have the stronger individual players than they do.
So does that mean they think it's easy?
I don't know.
Oh.
Definitely not.
Okay.
They are taking this game very seriously.
Very seriously. With most of the strongest individual players, I would. Let's get right into our next game, Counter Logic Gaming versus Team Dignitas. This is an important match for CLG as they look to reclaim their share of first place after a tough loss to TSM yesterday.
A crushing loss, really. Yesterday, CLG abandoned the tactics that have made them successful so far this split. They went back to those old school picks, like the Orianna with Tristana, but also their old play styles, which was do nothing but farm for 30 minutes and let the other team attack you. Double Lift, who has been such a great performer this split, the best AD carry in North American LCS, had his worst game yesterday, continually getting caught out of position. And maybe this is why. He was so outspoken that he thought the new patch hurt AD carries more than it helped, and they were a nerfed role. But several other carries have been thriving with the changes, and it might be a case that Double Lift is in his own head a little bit.
And meanwhile, Dignitas is coming off a big win over LMQ. They are moving forward in the standings, but have struggled to close out their weeks on a high note.
Yeah, currently their record in the last game of a week is actually 2-3, and that's really bad considering that they're 6-1 in games at the start or the middle of the week. It's almost like they lose focus halfway through. And Dignitas can't afford to make any sloppy mistakes against CLG because really, when Dignitas wins, everything goes right for them. They get a really large lead early and they just close it out because closing close games is definitely not their strength. they do not win by outmaneuvering teams, whereas CLG is more the team to do that.
That's right. We're going to check out the starting lineups as we get right into this one. On the blue side, it's going to be CounterLogic Gaming. In the top lane is Seraph. Dexter in the jungle, Link in mid, 80 carry double lift, and Afremu at support.
Yeah, and on the red side, it is Dignitas with Zion Spartan in the top lane, Crumbs in the jungle, Shifter in mid, I'm a Cutie Pie on 80 carry, and of course, Kiwi Kid.
And in
Bolt Cut
today's
Originator on support.
Yeah, the Bull Cut Originator indeed. In today's featured matchup, we're putting Dexter and Crumbs in front and center in a battle of the junglers.
Yeah, Riv, both of these players have a big influence on the team's overall strategy. And Crumbs has said he's most comfortable playing the support style jungler who just gets the vision for the team and then helps his lanes get ahead and lets the lanes carry it from there. Whereas Dexter does have similar tendencies, but has been trending towards carry junglers and carry jungler builds. We've seen that with his Vi picks recently and the Trinity Force that he tried to build yesterday. But both of these guys have shown they can deviate from standard jungle picks as well, which would be very interesting. Dexter with Vi 3 times, and Crumbs had a whole bunch of Nocturne games earlier as well.
Right, as we jump into Champion Select, it'll be very interesting to see who really is the white or the blue collar. Who does more of the work in the office white collar, or who's kind of the nitty-gritty blue collar labor worker who can really get their hands dirty.
Above-level strategy at this point, where it's not just brawling in the lane and putting in the CS numbers.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting between these two teams because CLG, early on in the season, won so many games with minuscule gold leads. They would just outmaneuver the team, and we're all thinking, man, how good is CLG really? Yeah. But if they can't get even in gold, things are going to go badly. If they're ahead, of course they're going to be able to close.
And hello, top lane. Zion Spartan will not get a Jax. Cast it in on that purple side. Go figure. Fanned out slow and even on both sides. The thoughts to come in now. Neither team can be taken lightly coming into this matchup. Shifter loses Ziggs, direct bans coming out in the beginning, and a Kale as well.
I'll be really fascinated if Seraph gets to play against Zion Spartan in a 1v1 this game. Seraph has actually not had many opportunities to have extended 1v1 lanes against other North American top laners. So much of the game, especially the game that CLG plays, has been about the 2v0 lane where the top laner is completely starved and then gets to join in team fights. And this would be the moment for Seraph to potentially shine against someone like Zion Spartan, or fail, because there's not really too much that incorporates the success of a 1v1 top lane outside of the top laners themselves.
Seraph's been having a bit of trouble when left to his own divides, and that top lane has been usually needing a bit of help from Dexter. Has been able to hold off a few leads that people have gotten on him, but never one to come out for himself. Right now with the Lulu, we saw that to great effect last game. We'll see what Zion Spartan decides to pick up.
Lulu definitely becoming more of a top lane pick than a mid lane pick, but because it is CLG and Link particularly in the mid lane, we have to remember when Link was at All-Star, his go-to pick that he had success against world-class mid laners all over the place with was Lulu.
Team. Yeah.
Yep. So there's a good chance they could still run that in the mid lane, which makes mid lane choices for Dignitas have to be a little bit more generic. Like that Orianna.
Like that Orianna indeed. I figured it might just be locked in. Shifter has some pretty good control with that champion. And shields, shield on shield for both teams.
Really fits his style. He can play very safe with it when he needs to and has a lot of good defensive capabilities since he's the Shifter the unkillable pretty much.
Yeah, right.
In the mid lane. It also has a really nice side effect of blocking the Lulu-Orianna combination that a lot of teams have been liking to do, just so many shields on potentially a hyper carry. Obviously, that's the strategy CLG has kind of been going away from, but it will be still pretty good.
Well, the last time they did pick her, he went 6-0-5. That was with Cutie Pie on Lucian going 5-0-7 as well. Big plays coming out from them in their matchup when they picked up Orianna. Braum coming in. Got some bans today, but it's not going to be in the hands of Afremu this game.
Yeah, really interesting there. How far Braum fell behind. Whoa, they actually go... Never mind. For a second, I thought the CLG hadn't picked a jungler. I was like, they go for Vi to take it away from Dexter. But it's actually just them going with Vi because they want to. Obviously, Lee Sin and Elise are banned. Crumb's not a big fan of playing Eve. So at that point, you're either falling back on his Nocturne picks, which have been very hit or miss, or something we really haven't seen much of from Crumbs this split.
Yeah, that would be real tough playing a Nocturne against a Braum. You're just asking to be locked down once you get in there. So good choice coming out from Crumbs' Vi. We'll have to see if he actually goes straight damage as well. And wow, a lot of fight capability coming in those last 2 picks of Chronologic Gaming.
Trying to lock in that Yasuo knockup synergy, which has been damn good for a lot of teams here. The Aurelia. Oh dear.
See how Aurelia matches up. Can close the gap no matter the slow that Seraph's going to put on her. But like we said, if we get that top lane matchup.
There's a lot to talk about here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it really depends on whether they decide to lane swap. Obviously, Twitch's main nerf in this patch was the fact that his base damage was lowered, and his base damage lowered, passive doesn't do as much damage, and it takes longer for him to stealth when he's taking fire. All those things combined make him much weaker in the lane, and the fact that sustain is harder to come by, and they're against a support that has sustain in Nami, make it really difficult theoretical laning phase for them. But Aphromoo and Doublelift are so good in 2v2, they might still lane anyways. And if they swap, they're going to be giving up a lot of the Dragon Gold. That's just the tip of the way these team comps are interacting.
It'll be big. If Dignitas gets any type of lead, they usually throw their foot down. So as the game's about to go live, we will see how the voting stands over at LOLesports.com. It's very close, 52% going over to CLG. Dignitas could win some of that back soon.
Yeah, keep throwing those votes out throughout the game, though, by tweeting the hashtag CLG win or DIG win, because we will be updating this very close poll periodically to see how the fans are predicting the outcome.
So looking at that Doublelift Aphromoo lane, they switch it up from what the usual is. Looking at the Twitch Braum, still considering them one of the stronger lanes in North America. Faltered a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we got to remember that game, Doublelift and Aphromoo got the kill on Turtle. They crushed them early on in the lane with the Nami. It was just the hooks later on in the game that spelled Doublelift's demise, and the way CLG played the mid game. Throughout this entire split, Doublelift and Afro have been proving time and time and again that they are the best.
We'll have another chance here in week 6. Oh, the crowd is ready. And the players, they're ready.
Big games this week. Even the EG Cloud9 at the very start of the day had so much building up to it because EG had climbed so high in feeling of potential power. Cloud9 had fallen
beating the top teams from the bottom.
And now we have yet another one here where Dignitas is tied for wins with LMQ at the moment. Can regain that sole possession of first place with a win over CLG, but they fell to CLG in their first matchup in a ridiculously entertaining game.
So you can see that just about 40 seconds. That happened 2 games in a row that ward is placed. If you're the support in that brush, you can expect the blue team to be coming through around 40 if they have gone straight out of base. Good time to know. Good wards placed out by CLG. They're going to have Aphromoo place the lane check. Actually, that was Twitch already.
They're heavily scouting these lanes right now. They're really trying to manipulate the right matchup for Doublelift and Aphromoo. Have been normally seeing teams just do the 5-man defensive line. And then it's actually, since people aren't getting deep wards, pretty much straight up guesswork as to where the lanes are going. But when they place wards that deeply, it will give them enough time to at least react to the lane they want to go to. Like, for instance, when Kiwi Kid walks through this lane where the Doublelift place, they will know exactly if they want the 2v2. And since Doublelift hasn't doubled back or went anywhere else, they want that 2v2, which means we kind of get everything we hope for. It's Doublelift Afro with a slightly weaker lane against Damacutie and Kiwi, and the isolation matchup between Zion, Spartan, and Seraph.
Which I'm super excited to check out because of the consumable picked up by Zion, knowing it's not like instant kill power for him. He's going to stay there to get big.
Aurelia oftentimes does have to play extremely passive early on in the lane, especially against someone with the range disparity like Lulu. Early on in this lane, it is very one-sided for the Lulu.
We'll see how Zion takes to that. We know he likes to fight. Let's see if he can keep himself out of trouble. Buff's getting taken up both sides of the jungle. And we are off and running for CLG versus Dignitas. Been watching Dexter lately. If he does not make one crucial mistake in the beginning of the game, he usually has a great game.
Yeah, it's the thing with CLG. When they've been successful this split, they are so decisive as a team, and Dexter is pretty much always leading the way. But there have been times where they just reach one step too far, which is just natural as far as growing pains of teams go. When you're making aggressive calls, you make some calls that are a little bit over-aggressive, and you get called on them. It's happened a few times for CLG.
Yeah. See if they can keep themselves away from that. Cutie Pie being first to the lane with double lift waiting for Afromu. You can see the level 2s to 1s. Trying to get a few auto attacks on. Kiwi Kid's getting an assist on that. Great trade and damage. Double lift under the turret's not going to have any trouble though. Afromu still can get those siege minions with the relic.
Ooh. Dexter's trying a very creative gank, but he gets spotted by Crumbs. He was trying to dodge the Tri-Brush ward and stop I'm a Cutie Pie and Kiwi Kid from shoving up. But nice vision gaining there by Crumbs.
Crumbs clash. Knowing what the deal is. Trying to get some damage down onto Seraph. You can see the consumable being drank up with the elixir.
This is just survival for Zion until he gets a few levels under his belt. Zion's going to need about 3 to 4 points in his W before he can start taking Seraph in trades.
Just saw this matchup a little bit ago. And it looks like Link actually also leveling his ball movement to keep up with the movement of Yasuo in that lane. Very good bubble, double bubble coming down. Afromu just with the unbreakable. Didn't even have to throw down the stand behind me. Very controlled in his actions.
Afromu and Double Lift have been very convinced of Braum's power ever since he's been released. Even if they don't destroy the lane, they know they can come back later on in the game. Especially around level 5, the damage from Braum's Q is often enough to kill if they can get the stun proc just once.
And Afromu and Link are probably, for mid laner and support, one of the best communicators for initiation. So to have the Glacial Fissure into that ultimate as well, I'm sure we'll see that.
Yeah, they play very, very well together.
Ooh, we got one in the top lane. Yeah, one in the bottom as well. The double bubble once again. There's the teleport though coming down. He can't do that. He's going to leave Crumbs in the top lane by himself. PewDiePie is going to get hit up now. A very nice gank back and forth. 80 carries are lost. And Seraph being hit up. One more attack.
What a crazy series of events.
With the teleport?
Potentially, but we're going to have to see both sides of this to really know exactly what happened, because specifically the bottom lane was just Double Lift and Afro getting a good trade. But in the top lane here, pretty much.
That's awesome.
It's pretty much a bait in at that point, but it did cancel the teleport.
Yeah.
So it worked in two ways. Yes, it acted as a bait, but Zion actually wanted to go down there. Because if he was down there, they would have been able to pick up the 2 kills in the bottom lane. Because of the flash, they ended up getting 2 kills anyway. But that is just a pretty cool series of
with him down there, that could have been some dragon control if they really wanted it.
Yes.
If they were to come on top of it.
That would have been the big win for Dignitas there. So when all is considered, Seraph made the right call of flashing to interrupt, because overall for the team, it benefited CLG.
Quick moves from both sides. It's really the first time Crumbs or Dexter haven't clashed heads this time, as they choose to gank different lanes. 6 in the mid from Link, and its Shifter still at level 5. He's been pushed out, so Link may try something hard when he comes back, but he hasn't purchased either. I love the remake on Twitch. Very feel good when you're just having fun in lane. Sweepers coming out for Dig as they still can try to control the map, as we watch Double Lift and Afromu try to take control of this bottom lane. They're up 200 gold across the map and only a few CS to that lane itself.
Yeah, yet with the early lane potency of the Nami and Lucian, the fact that they are behind 4 CS and actually down in overall kills and assists in the bottom lane, it means Double Lift and Afromu are winning that out quite handily in comparison to what's expected.
Hey, they wanted that matchup. It's going to be something they're playing very strong to win as well.
I think it's more they wanted the combination of the matchups, too. They wanted Seraph 1v1 against Zion with the Lulu early on. And Dexter is really spending a lot of time down here.
Oh, wow. 2 shots off. Concussive blows there coming in from Afromu's passive. And they get out just shy of 6-2. Well, I guess they're halfway there. So really couldn't have waited all that time to hit level 6. Top lane 52 to 47. Zion's probably actually not faring too badly here, but Sheen first.
The kill as well will help out a fair bit in this. Seraph had to make that sacrifice, but he's still going to be the one stuck in isolation with Zion Spartan. Although with just the Sheen, it's really not that much health. He's keeping even-ish in farm, but he still hasn't turned powerful. I think when Zion Spartan gets a Trinity Force is when he's going to try and get powerful, because Seraph is generally building magic resist because he needs it for the mana regen. And that'll make him very vulnerable to the physical and true damage that Zion will be putting out at that point. But you got to wait a while for that to happen.
Yeah. Slowly pushing out. We've seen that bottom lane. Oh, Zion Spartan getting some extra damage on. Can't do much damage as a squirrel, but he cuts right through that shield.
Surge.
Wow. Another blade surge with a little bit of W active. Very nice damage.
Yeah. So they are fully on their own up there, because the junglers are now focusing the dragon area more so than anything else. Crumbs is hoping to catch a counter gank on Elise, but he's really far out.
The hard thing to do. Dexter's going back. So this really would have been a great initiation by Crumbs in the bottom lane. Link working on his farm as we see Shifter going back as well. Link, a big playmaker, so it's always interesting to see him on a champion that needs to roam very, very hard to make those plays happen. He can do it on Yasuo once the team gets together to help.
Yeah, having Link on Yasuo will be a interesting experience for sure. We haven't seen him do it yet in the North American LCS, but everyone does seem to be picking up Yasuo, and it's something Link is going to have to learn and play very well.
It takes a lot of team coordination as well if you're waiting for those initiations. We've seen a lot of Tristana.
This is very interesting what's happening in Dragon Pit right now.
CLG chooses differently. Dexter?
Crumbs just walked all the way around the pit, but hasn't seen inside of it. And CLG probably would have just snuck this dragon from right under Dignitas' nose. Wow.
15-30 on that dragon to come back up. All CLG's knowledge.
Got to check inside the pit from time to time, not just around it. Geez, so a slight lapse in dig ward coverage right there punishes themselves with about 1,000 Dragon Gold going to CLG.
Oh my word, those Sheen hits really throwing damage at Seraph. He has to use his shield, his abilities just to stop Zion Spartan, and Zion's waiting for the Glitterlands to hit, and then he closes the gap.
And he's got the lane frozen right now. It's those 4 points he has in his W right now that is allowing him to outtrade a little bit. But he still doesn't have the Trinity Force, meaning unless Seraph itemizes some armor, which he has not done, he's going for the Athene's Unholy Grail, Zion may be able to really start punishing with the way he has the lane positioned right now.
Interesting matchup to see. A lot of people have been saying Lulu is another one of the bullies to come out of 4.10 in the top lane, and Zion kind of changing that thought around. Good play so far there, getting help from Crumbs to start that off though. But we know Zion, once he does get help, usually doesn't need repeat help. He can hold that.
We were talking earlier as the casters as well. If anyone was going to break out a rally in North America, it would be Zion Spartan.
That's true.
Because he's so good at it. But at this point, Crumbs is really trying to get that first level 6 gank off. He's already gotten the dragon taken away from him, so he wants to make up for it. But he can't push too hard. Twitch Braum is the type, if they land the right combos, they could actually turn a 2-3 around.
Slow moving. Crumbs knows there may be a chance here. With no vision yet of Dexter. They have to be very careful too.
Vi isn't really the type of jungler that can afford waiting in a brush this long without getting any positive results. She either needs to be farming or ganking, or she will fall behind and become very useless late game.
Dexter now to the top lane without seeing Crumbs anywhere. He's going to try to make some moves knowing that there has been a lot of pressure onto Seraph. Coming out of that brush as he did though.
Yeah.
A little different.
It's very good timing for the gank, though. This is right when Zion wants to get aggressive because he has the Phage. So if CLG could get a gank here, it would completely turn the tides of this game.
Zion's definitely got a sense that something's going, but he uses the dash. He wants to go back to Dexter. Hits it nicely. He actually hits the W down, kind of canceling out the cocoon that came in at the same time. He's able to get out.
Slippery Zion Spartan right there. Barely getting touched.
That passive helping a little.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Shifter doing quite well, 130 to 124. Anytime Shifter returns the lane, he'll get a few CS up, pushing Link into his turret, but they equal out the lane on that trade. Loving all of these lanes. So much potential for kill power to really come out. Waiting for Doublelift and Aframu to find the attack they want. Again, really, just as much as CLG does, loving this Braum. Even when they're bubbled, they're losing a bit of health, but they get that back with Relic. They get it back with the Scepter. The Culling's just there for pressure. Aframu keep it strong. Oh! jumped in the air. That's all it took for Kiwi Kid to know that was going to happen. Great reaction time.
Learning the animations is very key.
Yep.
But is that going to give them a false sense of security right there? Because Dexter's waiting in the wings, and Dignitas thinks they can trade.
There's the invisibility. They don't see Doublelift coming in. A few more shots. Can Doublelift cancel this one out? The heal comes in. The Summoner spell used by Cutie Pie, but it's not going to be helpful. They are still going on. One more hit coming in from Afromu to lock down the concussive blows. He gets the Winter's Bite on, and the flash over the wall from Link on his first roam becomes his kill. That's the first assist, I guess. That was Doublelift.
Yeah, with a lot of help from Dexter, Doublelift and Afromu are back in the game. This is Doublelift at home. He's looking to make up for the poor performance yesterday and prove why he's so good, but this happened in the top lane as well. Once again, while Dexter was bottom helping out Doublelift, Crumbs was top helping out Zion Spartan. He had to lead on Seraph from here.
Oh my.
And, I mean, did he even need Vi? No.
Crumbs was just taking a Polaroid. You can get the picture after.
Would have been nice to have Vi bottom during all that turret diving.
That's true. Get a little more experience on Crumbs. He's kind of been in the brush, wasting time. The team's doing well, but if he can't get into the fight and be big, we've seen what happens when Dexter doesn't have that armor. He kind of just melts.
Yeah. Vi jumping onto Twitch at this point, especially with Afromu's protection, is looking dangerous late game. So even though Seraph is behind in that top lane, the team fighting CLG is looking incredibly potent, and they are kind of in position to win this one right now.
With those 3 kills, Doublelift's able to fix up his Berserker Greaves and the Blade of the Ruined King already. So now more than happy to match up in this lane. Just have to worry about a bit of sustain that could throw them off. You should be able to win these fights. 700 gold lead after everything has been said and done in this game. And as the minute for Dragon starts to come up, we'll see what kind of pressure these teams can put on that area. Wow. Good trade.
Yeah. One interesting thing here is, even though Dignitas has the general timer of Dragon, CLG has the exacting timer of Dragon. So there is a small chance that Dexter could try and sneak it again. That being this late into the game, though, I would expect Dignitas to start covering a few more wards pretty shortly. Or to have Crumbs try and get a gank off right when the Dragon would be happening.
Junglers in the mind of each other at this point. Dexter just on the wing here on the left side. You see him coming onto your screen. 20 seconds onto Dragon, the perfect time for teams to get together.
They have a few people down here. They might just try a brute force dive. They may even be able to turn it through before, but this is a little bit dangerous. Here they come!
This is really dangerous. Link is on the way down, and Shifter went up. The fight begins under the turret. A kill from Dexter comes in, but here comes Link. A new challenger enters the battle. He's actually not even needed as Zion Spartan and Cutie Pie are forced back. Dragon for CLG.
Dexter and CLG as a whole absolutely crushed the mind games right there. Knowing that the dive would be coming before the Dragon, because everyone wants to do a gank right before the Dragon comes up, and then just waiting for Dignitas to pounce. The counter teleport by Seraph, but most importantly, just the knowledge that everyone was going to be getting sent for double from Naffer. They don't suffer a single casualty in the bottom lane right there amongst all that, and they get the kills plus the Dragon. Huge win.
Zion Spartan kind of being forced in here. Probably love to teleport and get that top lane pushed in since he was present for that engagement down bottom. It still wasn't even to provide that much due to the engagement of CLG. Now moving around, Dig starts to clean up what they can. 27,000 now as CLG quickly takes a gold lead.
Yeah, and it's not going to be getting too much easier for Dignitas, mainly because Crumbs right now is really far behind.
Yeah.
Just the Spirit of the Elder Lizard and a Health Crystal when you compare it to the Tank Spirit and upgraded boots plus the Health Crystal of Dexter. But more importantly, within the context of the team compositions, Crumbs will be trying to go with Zion Spartan. They have 2 squishy frontline divers. That's not enough to take down Twitch Braum at this point. They do not have enough damage or enough tankiness to deal with it. Afromu just has to use his ultimate while Twitch does, and they will obliterate any dive that comes at them at this point in the game.
CLG taking into consideration what Zion Spartan said about having great lanes. So really what they do is they ban out and pick out Crumbs as much as possible. Definitely softened up the lanes enough for CLG to start taking the lead.
A little bit of help.
Man, he doesn't even know. Oh, what a surprise from Doublelift. That's going to be the kill. And this just means Doublelift feels so strong. CLG is going to start taking over.
Yep, this is the Doublelift that had 66 kills over the first 5 weeks of the LCS.
Yeah.
Just roaming everywhere once he and Afromu have destroyed the lane and helping out everybody else. Sound Spartan was the strongest member of Dignitas. got taken down with ease.
It's going to be incredibly hard for Dignitas to feel comfortable in any position if they don't have enough pink wards on the map. They won't even be able to take down this turret here. Not enough coverage for Cutie Pie, but it is prepped. CLG 68%. That's quickly moving up as well. 70% to 30 here as they now group together in the mid lane. Look at Doublelift getting a split push on already. He was happy to take that all the way to second tier.
Yeah, big moment in the game.
Very
here
safe
as well, with 2 turrets being down on both sides and CLG taking the majority of the previous victories. Cutie Pie wants to get to that Ghost Blade, but he started Avarice Blade, whereas Doublelift started Brutalizer. So if the fight happens shortly, Twitch will actually be much stronger here. It basically would be on Shifter to land a spectacular shockwave in the next upcoming fight, but... Oh. Yeah, don't go on that. That would have been the end of Link.
I probably would have.
Dexter also going for more of a carry-oriented Elise build as well.
Just going to point that out.
He got a little bit of a gold lead, immediately went for a second penetration item.
It follows suit with what he's been doing on Vi.
Yep. So he will be packing a punch.
Crumbs is going to feel that as well. We still point back to his build. Dexter probably solo him out real quick. Moving down the mid lane. Looks like they're going to get the second tier turret as well. Shifter could have a nice ultimate, but there's no follow-up from the team. Everybody's getting a split push on themselves. Zion Spartan is still proving useful in the top lane right now. He doesn't have a lead, though, on to Seraph. So now that they meet, Zion Spartan has to back off.
Really seems like CLG is a team much different from what they did yesterday. This is more of the CLG that has been being played all season. And honestly, as far as Dignitas is concerned, it's speaking to some of their problems. They often don't perform well in the last game they play of the week. And once again, they're like a completely different team from yesterday. Dignitas had such a great game against LMQ and of looking quite lackluster here. Crumbs has not been able to find openings on Vi. He is falling drastically far behind. They had a dragon snuck away from under their noses early game. Yet their dragon control was pretty much what won them the game against LMQ. Peculiar match.
The coaches are definitely helping, but there is always the possibility that once in the game, if the shot caller himself is the one that's taking the most hits, silence can happen. The calls can be second guessed and things just kind of start to fall apart. Towards the end of the day, the end of a week, it's a little easier to do and fall into those habits.
Yeah. And honestly, once you're down 5,000 gold in 20 minutes, coaching goes out the window a little bit, and it's more about instinct and game sense. You don't necessarily coach and say, all right, once we fall behind by 5,000 gold, we're going to do this with our composition. You really have to find these really small windows because the majority of pre-played plans would fail.
Oh my word. And if it's not pre-planned, it happens in the blink of an eye. Logic Gaming picking up crumbs.
Big move there by Aframu to steal those double buffs away, flashing over the wall after the cocoon had landed.
All the control that they want, even denying this second tier turret now before the base. It looks like they'll have Dragon. One more time. There's a ward just past him at blue that CLG had deeply placed. Getting him a kill.
The main thing about that, though, is Dignitas had absolutely no one to retaliate. All the cooldowns got burned on in Crumbs, but everyone else on Dignitas was spread out throughout the map.
Still looking good from Zion Spartan in the top lane.
Best.
Aurelias can be fight changers, but I don't know how much that's going to change. Doublelift's very big right now. 4-1-2, hasn't been back to spend his most recent gold, and Dragon is going to be CLG's once again. Oops.
Definitely looking like that. They missed the sweep, even though they saw the ward being placed down. This would be Dignitas' want to get back because they're going to feel like CLG has enough ultimates burned. Zion also burned the Seraph Lulu ultimate up here, so maybe Dignitas tries to force something here. If they lose this fight, the game's over. If they win it, they're back a little bit into the game. But they're so far behind.
Definitely need something of a perfect tidal wave. A lot of possible things could happen. Aframu definitely has a lower cooldown on Unbreakable than they do on
Bit of a desperation dragon. They want to land the perfect shockwave. CLG's got to go in for this. They're so far ahead.
Look at the ball placement. They give it up on that one. CLG is going to let it go.
Very odd. They were down ultimates, sure.
Agreed.
But with how much they've been beating Dignitas up, that was a way to take the game and turn it into a victory.
Keep that fight in mind because that dragon also turns into a mid-turret without any retaliation possibly. There's the AP that Dexter was building, but it wasn't that much of a burst coming out onto Crumbs. They're about to go back. He gets a double shockwave. Link's on the outside. He tries to throw up Crumbs. Gets him down. Crumbs can't do much, and it's going to be 2 kills for Dragon and mid turret. CLG is heading towards that Baron area.
Maybe a little bit more. CLG trying to make a bold call after this team fight there. A little bit low. They've killed a lot of Dignitas, though. Let's see. Let's see how they decide to do this. No smite possibilities, but that's a lot of damage that Dignitas has up right now. They just need vision.
Blade of the Rune King from Doublelift helping to chunk down the HP of Baron. It's down to 3,500 HP right now. Definitely not a smite range. Cutie Pie so far ahead in the fight. He gets picked up. He gets thrown down. Another death. But here comes now. It's going to be Crumbs out of the base. Only Boots won. The brown bags will not carry him to Baron fast enough. It looks like it's going to be Baron going over to CLG.
Well, they didn't give up the dragon, but they got the greater prize.
Yeah.
Which is the Baron when all was said and done. They waited for Aphromu's ultimate cooldown, which was not up at the Dragon Pit. Instead opted to use that in the mid lane. It allowed them to get a few kills. Then they played the Baron very smartly, knowing there was no smite potential, but instead the fear of a fight. Peeled as soon as Dignitas came for it, and then picked up the kills where they should have. So things back in control for CLG.
Absolutely. 2,000 gold sitting on Link, Doublelift, and Aphromu, or just near if you round it up. Doublelift himself, about 2,000 gold ahead of I'm a Cutie Pie, just in stats for champion to champion. And he did his own work to get his kills. Right after he got kills in the bottom lane, he went to the top lane. CLG made sure to get him big before they really wanted to activate what their priorities were. As taking over the side of Dignitas. The boards aren't there yet. With Baron, they're clearing out the waves so they can get a nice push on one of these mid inhibs.
Yeah, this is another one of these games for Shifter where when the rest of Dignitas is doing poorly, he shuts down a little bit. He's a very opportunistic mid lane player in the sense that when Dignitas is behind, he still doesn't die because he's not. There's no opportunities for him to jump.
Right.
One thing that
safety sometimes keep you from getting your own kills.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Right.
Right? How Shifter ends up playing these games. He had another game when Dignitas lost to Complexity. He didn't even try using Shockwave until 26 minutes in.
Yeah, remember that.
He's definitely not one of the players that creates his own action, but is fantastic at cleaning up action when it happens.
Coming to mind, the Ziggs triple quadra at the Baron Pit with Orianna. There's definitely the possibility for a skill outplay. Cutie Pie doesn't want to be taking that much damage just right now. They have the sustain from Kiwi Kid, but it's only so much. Getting on these turrets is still hard for CLG. They do have a tidal wave to be messing with. Looks like they're going to go for a bit of a split push. Actually, the whole team's going up now.
Yeah, they're just sweeping turrets as best they can. The side turrets are a little easier to take than the mid turrets typically. This is a very exposed turret to defend if CLG wanted to flank around the backside. And Dignitas, as you see, is very hesitant in the way they tried to posture that turret.
Textbook plays coming out from CLG. Once they get the lead, able to go from turret to turret, slowly whittling down their opponent. Crumbs still trying to piece together a bit of mitigation of magic resistance in that Spectre's Cowl, as well as the Chain Vest. Can't even complete a second item by 26 minutes in the game. Really tough game for him. There's his initiation right here. He tries to go hard. They get the shockwave down onto him. If there's enough crowd control, they can't turn onto him. But the second they can, he's obliterated. They go for Cutie Pie as well. The great turret micro-wing in and out by the HP bar of the CLG. And you're right, Jet. They are going to keep going. Crumbs went for broke, and they took everything they could.
Going for broke that far from home against a Baron Dub team almost never works out. But it was a desperation move by Dignitas trying to make something happen. CLG just cleaned house.
Cleaned house, now cleaning inhibitors. That Baron keeping them quite regened and strong. They use those stats to get in and out quite safely. Not going to be losing any members on that one, but they get 3 and all the way through to inhib.
Yep. This is one of the best games CLG has played all year, I have to say.
Yeah, very methodical.
If you think back to the last time they played, we'll do this replay first. The Unbreakable from Aphromu blocked the tidal wave from Nami, which was a godsend for CLG in this team fight. And then they just decided to obliterate the rest of them. Even though Dexter didn't land the Flash Cocoon, they already had killed 3.
can see it's kind of panic mode. Dignitas has a chance to push middle. They get it pushed as fast as possible. Get back and soak up resources. Very tough game for Dig here. I don't think we've seen them really struggle this much this year. They've always had somewhat of an answer and an objective at their own turret, a way to fight back a little bit. But CLG is keeping the stranglehold on. It's definitely something they're adapting at 4.10, stronger than Dig for this game.
This game for sure. W6D2 has the Blade of the Rune King Ghostblade build. Everyone else has been going with the first pick, Lulu. Shows the new top lane pick priorities, at least in the context of the overall game. But just to get back, the first time Dig and CLG played, Dig was pretty much ahead in most facets, except from, and then CLG beat them by rotating around the map. Typically, most of CLG's wins this year have been very close gold games, where they then just outmaneuver the other team and take a superior amount of turrets. This is a game where they did both, which is something that they're definitely going to want to do if they want to become the top team in North America like their goals are. But it's a very good step against a team as strong as Dignitas.
CLG is going to do what they can to get in now to the base.
Whoa!
And that's going to be a flash initiation right onto Link, forcing him out of the fight. No Zanya's there to be used. The Guardian Angel making Link an absolute beast as he jumps into the fight, and he comes out completely alive with the Guardian Angel still up.
He went a little bit in that time, but it worked easily because Dignitas is so far behind. This is inhibitor number 2 for CLG. What a move.
A few hits here. CLG definitely making quicker work of the inhibitors than they did in their first game. It looks like a shockwave comes out. It's able to grab some damage, but not able to grab the kills. It's all Counter Logic Gaming, way faster than the first game. They're going to be taking out the Nexus 14 minutes earlier than they did in this first matchup. Counter Logic Gaming in 29.5 minutes takes down Dignitas.
Fast and clean. That performance from CLG made short work of Dignitas.
I was really interested in the beginning with all the picks that CLG came out with.
Yeah.
They played them very well, and they really made it a point to take away Crumbs' champion pool.
Yeah, that was such a great game, specifically by CLG's bottom lane. I cannot say this enough. There were 18 total kills in the game. Doubleth was a part of 16 of them. Aftermoon was a part of 17. And holy crap, did they play well. So much focus was down there. Dexter focused it. When Crumbs tried to come down there, it was too little, too late. What a way to bounce back from yesterday.
You can see smiles on the faces of Counter Logic Gaming. Not one of the games that you have sighs and that relief feeling after. Yeah, it's relief, but it's happiness. That was very textbook play coming out from Counter Logic Gaming. Bot lane of North America still showing strong. Braum and Twitch lane matchup.
Yeah. Haven't been seeing much Braum, that's for sure. A lot of bans.
Or Twitch.
Sometimes people let him go through. Afromoo definitely tells his own story with it. Some incredibly good Unbreakables. And that, even though there were a few errant ultimates by him, because it's got a really long windup when he throws that down, so it is dodgeable.
Right.
But as far as the use of his Unbreakable shield, blocking the tidal waves,
that was amazing.
Always having it up when the Nami bubble is about to land so they don't counter any damage.
It pretty much, completely countered. It's so nice on the Nami bubble. He's like, yeah, hit me again. You get a double bubble in lane, and you're like, well, we lost lane.
What better to have Twitch open up Ratatat with than a giant shield right in front of him? You know?
And for Link, bringing out his first play on Yasuo, you mentioned in the beginning, when he went with Cloud9, he pulled out the Lulu with a brand new team and was able to succeed with that. His first Yasuo with Counter Logic Gaming, he's able to succeed with that and created the last final initiation in the game with a flash ultimate.
Yeah, playing with a little bit of confidence, one would say, and yet just no deaths in that game as well. Him and Dexter as well had the bounce back performance. You know, Dexter was able to hit his aggressive item thresholds, then really take full advantage of having that magic penetration.
A little bit of power.
No, really, like I said, this is one of the cleanest, best games CLG has played all year.
Cleanest, and they definitely went for more kills. We used to see their old compositions kind of go through somehow without getting too many kills. They found what they needed, and then they took it. Usually CLG would do what Dexter did in the beginning. How'd they sneak Dragon?
Yeah.
Oh, they did it again. Now they're forcing these things and getting it as they should.
Yeah, this game in particular, it wasn't so much about messing around and really trying to outwit someone by saying, oh, you're going to go for Dragon? We'll give you that because we're going to take 2 turrets. They just, all right, we'll give you Dragon, then we'll kill you and take Baron. Right? It was a much more aggressive, assertive style.
Interesting to see the Aurelia versus Lulu matchup. Zion Spartan took hold. He did get help from Crumbs in the early game, but then it kind of just started to fall apart for Dignitas. Right now, we're going to send it over to Kobe and Freak for more at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. What's up, guys? We got Doublelift and Dexter here to join us to talk about that commanding victory under 30 minutes. I got to say, really convincing win. Were you expecting the game to go this well when you came into Champ Select?
I don't know. You can go first. Go first.
Actually, the second I saw picks, we had Braum, Yasuo, Switch. We never showed something of this like before, but we practiced those champions. But we are always slow to show the champions. But the second we locked, like the second I had Elise, and we got Braum, Twitch, and Yasuo mid, and I was like, okay, we practice so much on these champions. This is like basically free. And yeah, we banned out Shifter kinda on his assassins. We banned Syndra, which was a good thing to ban out. And yeah, as soon as I saw all champions locked in, I was like, okay, if we just don't feed early game, we will win the game for sure, 100%.
And you guys specifically, when you do get into the game, especially versus Dignitas, it seems like, you seem to have very good counter plans pretty much laid up. Yeah. You are able to counter Crumbs in the jungle a lot, and you guys in the bottom lane attract a lot of attention, and you guys are able to play around that very well. Is there something specifically about this team that makes them easier for you guys to read?
Well, their bot lane, I can speak from personal experience, like, they're not very good actors. And by that, I mean, like, when they have the jungler in the brush, or they have, like, Aurelia sitting in the brush waiting to gank us, it's really easy for me to tell, like, we don't have vision of it, and we don't necessarily know, but, like, just based on the map, like, Vi and Aurelia are missing, and they're playing really far up. They're not playing normal. And so that's kind of one thing that me and Afro have been working on for, you know, since we started playing together, is making sure that people don't, like, cue in on what we're trying to do. Like, our ganks are pretty much unreadable because we're always playing aggressive, but QtPie and Kiwi Kid, they kind of play really passive, and then when the gank comes, they're just like, oh, I'm going to E forward.
So this gank that you're talking about, we actually have a replay of it. Let's get that up on your guys' screen here. Now, I also, before we play it, I want to ask you about Seraph's communication of this, because he is the top laner up there, and there's been a lot of discussion about, you know, that signal there. He's calling out right now, hey, Zion's not here, like, be worried, or what?
No, I think it was Peter, Doublelift's call. He was like, okay, their bot lane is playing really aggressive. 4 men are here, 100%. He called it like 20 or 25 seconds in advance. And he's like, all right, I'm going to come in bot lane and we're going to counter against this. And yeah, like I said, they're not very good actors. And we knew that there are 4 people there because Aurelia was missing for like 30 seconds top lane. And yeah, we just...
Yeah, like previous to this, like, QtPie had E'd forward on me, and he just like did it again, and I'm like, all right, we just need a TP in. It's such a choreographed gank right here, and so, you know, I tell Seraph, get your TP ready when this comes, and Dex is already in position to counter, and I think as soon as I see 4 people on a TP coming in, and like even Link comes, because it's so easy to read, they just kind of back up. They're like, oh god, we've made a mistake, and their bottom lane kind of never recovered from that point on.
Yeah, it seemed to be rough the whole time. The thing is, I know QtPie, or at least throughout history, he's been a player who's been sort of a recklessly aggressive player, just kind of randomly. Has that actually fallen off, which makes him easier to read?
Well, the first time he ever E'd forward on me was like 10 seconds previous to that gank. So, yeah, I think he has like spurts of aggression, and I kind of just assume whenever he does that the jungler's there, and I'm almost always right. They're like a really solid bot lane, but their acting skills are not great.
So now, after this interview, next time you guys play, he's going to do that all the time.
The mind game.
Here we go. Level 2 of the mind games.
Yeah.
Gonna jump in on you, and then you'll just run away because you'll be afraid the whole time.
Yeah, the other thing is they also spent a pink ward on that gank. They committed so many resources to that gank bottom. Once you turn something like that around, how do you guys as a team say, okay, we got this huge advantage, simple steps for us to take that and make that advantage into, you know, something that's game winning?
Well, it happened at Dragon. We knew that we had an advantage in the fight before and that we don't have ultimates. We really wanted at the Dragon because we're in position, but at the same time, we're like, okay, we don't have 1 or 2 ultimates. We can't fight this. We don't want to lose our lead. And if we give it for Dragon, it's okay because we know what their next step is going to be, and we try to counter this. And by this is we just say, okay, we give up Dragon. It's cool. We're still ahead, and we can just fight again if we have our ultimates up, which we did in the mid lane. And that resulted in the Baron and another catch, actually. And from that point where we had Baron, the game was pretty much over because we just pushed through, and there was no way of recovering.
Well, you just prepped the next replay really well then, I guess.
Yeah, you could pull that up on your screen. If you know, Dexter, you just talked about it, so Doublelift, if you want to talk about why this mid one went so well.
We had just given up a Dragon because we were waiting for ultis, and then right here, after it's counting down, I have ulti in 5, 4, 3, 2, and then we're like, all right, we're going. Like, your ulti's up, let's go. And they just kind of overcommitted because they're so desperate to get back in the game that they commit 5 people to hit this like 1 HP tower, which is not necessary. And then at this point, Afro goes in, he has great shield and a great ulti to kind of zone them away from their escape path, and they don't really know what to do. And me and Link flash the Ori ulti here, which lets us just clean up really easily.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest things about playing Lulu and Yasuo together is just like the conjunction of like the speeds, the slows, and Yasuo's mobility. It's really easy to pick off people after they mess up. And then this is just free. Like, we know that they're coming in. Everything is warded, so I'm just like, all right, I'm tilting on Shifter. I don't really know what they're doing. They should actually just be pushing mid right here and trying to get something out of our Baron. And that was just really good. That tornado ended up knocking Cutie Pie out of his dash. So Link's a beast.
Yeah,
also good.
It worked really well. Actually, I want to sort of talk about Link a little bit more because you had a push that ended the game basically, where he like flashes, dashes through 4 minions, goes to an inhibitor turret, and like afterwards like I got you, and like dives in afterwards. Like, does Link just say I'm going in, follow me, and you just respect the call?
No, we planned those things 1 minute and ahead. Like we were okay. Orianna has no flash. All we have to do is we have a Baron. We have such a huge advantage. We have Yasuo, Wind Wall, and Braum Shield. All we have to do is kill Orianna and we win the game. And Link was like, all right, I see the minion wave. I'm going for it. He stacked up his charge thing, like the 3 stacks.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, I'm going for it. And then he eat twice, flash, eat Orianna, and ultimated, and we followed up on it. And the second Orianna dies, there's no way that they can win or can do anything because Orianna has no flash. She literally had 0 armor, and even then, we just have too much follow-up damage from our team comp, and we have too much tankiness. And the team comp that we played was just all around 10 times better than their team comp.
Yeah, plus Link already had a Guardian Angel ready for this. Was this even like 15 minutes pre-planned here?
He was like,
he's going to be playing very aggressive, so...
He had Baron, and he was, okay, I'm going to buy Guardian Angel instantly. We're going to finish the game right now.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
He just had cash money ready.
Yeah, why not? Actually, so I want to keep pressing you on this sort of plan ahead, because you guys pride yourselves on strategic play, thinking the game out a few steps ahead. Does that also play into, like, for example, when you're jungle ganking? Like, when you go into champ select, you're like, their Yasuo needs to get fed, or they're going to lose the game. Like, does that sort of dictate what sides of the map you play on? Like, how much does it play into even at the start of the game?
It's really hard, especially in this game. I knew that we knew that Scrum's gonna start red buff, and he actually did a really good move there when he walked down to Dragon. It was at 3 minutes. I was like, okay, I'm gonna E over the wall. I knew that they try-warded, the try-wash was warded, and I knew that if I gank through this pass with the repel over the Dragon, there's no ways I can escape the gank because we knew what they're gonna do. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna repel over the wall to Dragon, and with a Braum, we're just gonna kill them, double kill. And yeah, he countered that move. Like he warded there, he walked there at 3 minutes, which is really uncommon because usually the Vi is just farming their jungle. And I didn't really expect that because if he wouldn't have done that, the bot lane would be over for sure. We would have double killed them.
Yeah, and I think it was really important this game for me to get ahead, or for me and Afro to get ahead. And we had like a lot of successful ganks bottom lane, and that's like super important because then I can win the other lanes. So like Seraph got his tower taken, he was getting spam ganked. But it doesn't really matter because Aurelia can never, ever CS. Because anytime she does, I'm just going to stealth up on her and kill her. And like one time she was even sitting in the brush, patiently just like trying to get XP, and I still killed her. So once Twitch gets ahead, you're pretty much going to take control of the game and win the solo lanes. So no matter how bad they're doing, and Link was doing really well, but I still like managed to blow Ori's flash.
Yeah, you did talk a lot last time you picked Twitch as well about ganking solo lanes in the mid game. Do you feel like with the new patch you have more options as an AD carry? Or less options?
Well, honestly, I'd always built this build. Even on 4.9, I always went Bork and a Ghost Split on Twitch because I feel like Twitch is a champion where once you get ahead, it's not about split pushing, which is what I like to do, but it's not the best thing to do anymore. I don't care about CS. As soon as I take the enemy AD carry's tower, I'm just going to be killing everyone on the map.
Yeah, as far as what AD carry champions, though, do you feel like any new ones have opened up, or do you feel like this is kind of closing?
I think that I was like wrong with my initial impressions with Lucian because I never thought to. Well, I did think about going Bork and a Ghost Split on him because he's like my second favorite champion, but I never thought it would be as effective as it would be on Twitch, and I was wrong because Lucian's kit is so strong. He can build something like that and just like melt people.
Yeah, seemed to work out really well for you guys. So now basically, we're 1 game away for now 2 weeks in a row. Every team going 1-1 in the week. Is this like North America like having really absolute parity, or like are people being really inconsistent?
Especially us, I think we had like the worst week of practice behind us, pretty much, and we should be really happy that every team went 1-1 because we might as well just go 0-2 this weekend and we would have dropped the rank for sure.
Wow.
I expected to go 0-2 after this week of practice, and I'm really, really, really happy that we got 1-1 and we are still tied for first place because basically nothing happened. And yeah, we just have another week to prepare for a Super Week next week. And yeah, this is where all counts. And we took out like a rank 1 team right now with Dignitas. We won against them, which was really important. And yeah, I think this week was more important for us than for anyone else because we had a really rough week of practice behind us.
I think right now, out of all times, is the worst time to be looking at standings and trying to use that to see which team is better than another team. Because like people will look at the standings, they'll say, oh, look, Complexity or EG, whatever, that's the bottom of the standings. And that means that they are worse than Curse or whoever is in the middle of the standings. And right now, especially just because of the new patch and because everyone's stepping up super hard, it's like, I think Complexity and Curse and EG and just like every team is just about the same. And then there's maybe like a, at the top, certain teams trying to claw their way up, like TSM, us, C9. And like Dig and LMQ are still in there too. But standings right now, honestly, they mean nothing. I respect Complexity the same way I respect Curse.
Well, cool. Well, guys, of course, congratulations on the win. And I guess better than you expected on the week with the win there. So, guys, thanks for your time. We'll see you for 4 more games next week. But we've got more games today. We're going to take one last break while we patch up the Nexus for our final LCS match, Curse versus Complexity. The summer split continues faster than you can say, Bob's your uncle. Don't go anywhere. What?
Yeah, it is. How do we play team fights, guys? Win conditions. Clear calls, good plans.
They have good plans.
They have to come in.
We're going to put them down.
Clear calls, good plans.
Clear calls, good plans.
All right, good luck, guys.
Clear calls, good plans. Yes, clear calls, good plans.
A little bit dangerous. Here they come.
This is really dangerous. Link is on the way down, and Shifter went up. The fight begins under the turret. A kill from Dexter comes in, but here comes Link coming out onto Crumbs. They're about to go back. He gets a double shockwave. Link's on the outside. He tries to throw up Crumbs. Gets him down. Crumbs can't do much. There's his initiation right here. Tries so hard. They get the shockwave down onto him. If there's enough crowd control, they can't turn onto him. But the second they can, he's obliterated. They go for Cutie Pie as well.